Hey, what's up guys? This is Dr. Brent and I wanted to make a video on a specific topic related to the opioid epidemic. And guys, if you haven't heard, this is like national news. There's currently right now there's over 2 million Americans either addicted to, dependent on an opioid drug, or has been abusing one. So guys, it's like an astronomical number. And so I wanted to take a second and just kind of go through this. So an opioid drug, this is going to be things like morphine, oxycodone, hydrocodone. So the number one most popular one is the hydrocodone or Vicodin. So that's an opioid. And then the second most popular one is oxycodone, and that's something like Percocet. So if you know anyone on those sort of medications, just understand like that's an opioid. And they are extremely addicted or addictive. In fact, there's been some huge movements even up into like the president signing bills trying to reduce the prescription of these kind of drugs because of how devastating they can be for our health. So this is kind of the reason I bring this up. So number one is people go to the doctor and they have a pain, right? Let's say we compare it to something like back pain, neck pain, whatever. They go to the doctor wants to help them, and they prescribe them a pain pill, right? That they want to get out of pain. So there's a couple problems with that. Number one is when they start to take that pain, take that pain pill and they start to feel better. It's really a misconstrued version of what's really going on inside, because just because the pain is gone doesn't mean they're any better. In fact, the pain is there to try to tell that person that there is a problem, there's damage, and that they shouldn't be doing specific things. So they take this drug and all of a sudden their pain starts to go away. So then they start to do stuff, they get a little bit more active, and they start to push themselves where they shouldn't be doing that. So the damage actually gets worse, leading to more severe or permanent damage, disabilities in fact. The other problem is that the drugs start to mess with the chemistry, and so how these drugs work is they actually block receptor sites in your nerve system. And so doing that long term can have some serious effects, even just with nerve system damage and nerve system interference, not to mention all the other problems with like the kidney and the livers. So guys, that's a major problem, because these people who take those pain pills actually get worse. Period. Which makes me so mad, because if they just knew about chiropractic and the availability of getting their spine analyzed, figuring out exactly why there is damage, what's causing the damage, and then starting to correct that misalignment causing damage to their spine, not only so that they get well and they get results, but they actually get to the root cause of the problem and they can truly get healthy, not just mask a symptom till further damage. Guys, so if you know anyone that's on a chronic medication, if you know someone who has a problem, neck pain, back pain, whatever, instead of allowing them to go to the doctor to get put on a prescription medication that has insane addictive properties, how about we just get them in the office? How about we figure out exactly what's causing their problem so we can help them truly get well? Guys, the other reason that I wanted to talk about this specifically is what happens to a person when they get addicted to a medication like this. So if you've ever been addicted to something, it's obviously pretty hard to quit. And let me just kind of walk you through like what happens, because this is kind of a big gap, but you gotta follow me here. So someone who goes in, say randomly for back pain, right? They get prescribed Percocet. Okay, it kind of helps them get through the day, and they get addicted to this medication, and so they go back to the doctor and say, hey, my back still hurts, and they get more drugs. And this will probably go on for a while until eventually, hopefully, the doctor kind of figures out like, hey, you know, your back pain should be gone, or we need to do something else, but I can't just keep giving you these drugs because they're dangerous. So not only does the prescription potentially run out, but it's extremely expensive sometimes to get these kind of medications. And so they can't trick their doctor anymore. So then they maybe go and they try and score these drugs from friends or whatever it is. So then all of a sudden they're trying to buy these drugs, and they're extremely expensive on the street. And so what they do is they actually stop using this prescription drug, and they actually make the jump to using heroin. Now I know that seems like a crazy jump, but they're kind of formulated from the same thing. They both come from opium. Okay, So it's significantly less expensive to buy heroin, and it's a better high. So a house mom goes from I hurt my back, taking an opioid just for their back pain, Percocet, Vicodin, whatever, till getting addicted, can't get that drug anymore, and it makes the gap to using heroin. And I know that seems like a crazy jump, but it happens so much more than you think. In fact, right now, 3 out of 4 heroin users started with an opioid addiction. If you want to watch a documentary on this, it's called Overdose America. And I want to share this story specifically because, you know, oftentimes you think that it doesn't apply to you, right? We get that. So my mom's best friend, her name is Nancy. And Nancy had a couple girls, and then she had a couple boys, and we were best friends since birth, right? So second generation best friend. And the older sister, a couple weeks ago, was found in her bedroom with a needle hanging out of her arm. And she was found by her 2 teenage girls. Someone you would never think would use heroin. And it started because she got hurt. She was in pain. And she got put on a prescription drug. In fact, she worked for a couple doctors, so it was easy to get. And it led to an addiction. And it slowly, really unbeknownst to so many family members, destroyed her life. And then she ended up turning to street drugs, heroin. And I don't know how long she was using that, but it cost her her life. I couldn't imagine the devastation in her 2 little girls going into her room, finding their mom dead with a needle hanging out of her arm. That makes me so mad because someone didn't get to her. She wasn't referred into an office like this where she could have got adjusted instead of getting put on an addictive medication like that. No one reached out to help her, saying, hey, instead of going to this medical doctor and getting drugs, how about you come and see my chiropractor? How about you check to see if we can get you healthy without the drugs and surgery? And so guys, I share this story because, you know, I wish to God that somebody would have got to her. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. And that family has to live with that. But I'm going to ask every single one of you, if you know someone who gets injured, has a back issue, a neck issue, whatever it is, if you would please try to refer them into an office like this. Bring them to the dinner. Use one of those VIP referral cards. Get them a discount for their first visit, because I truly believe that they deserve an opportunity to know that there's something different besides the drugs and the surgery. And guys, so I really hope that you can take that story and use it to help save someone's life, because that's exactly what happens in this office. We save lives. We help people avoid the drugs and the surgery. We adjust their spines, get their nerve systems functioning, because it's not only the pain that we want to be able to help, but it's interference to that nerve system that affects how the body functions. Guys, so I appreciate you guys being in the office and you taking charge of your health, but I pray that you kind of reach out and help somebody else avoid the situation that just happened to my best friend's family. Thanks, guys. Bye.